The world is a stage upon which the grand drama of human history unfolds. Throughout the ages, leaders have risen, guiding the destinies of nations and leaving their indelible mark upon the world. But history, as we know, is no stranger to tragedy. In the annals of history, the assassination of a leader has often led to profound consequences, sending shockwaves across the globe and forever altering the course of events. These acts of violence, often driven by ideological fervor or a lust for power, have the capacity to plunge nations into chaos and reshape the geopolitical landscape. From the assassination of Julius Caesar in the Roman Forum to the gunshots that rang out in Dallas on that fateful day in November 1963, the assassination of a leader is a stark reminder of the fragility of power and the ever-present potential for chaos. This video series delves into some of the most infamous and impactful assassinations in history, exploring the circumstances surrounding these events, the motivations of the assassins, and the far-reaching consequences that reverberated across the world. The year is 1865. The American Civil War, a brutal conflict that has torn the nation asunder, is finally drawing to a close. After years of bloodshed and division, the nation stands poised on the precipice of a new era, one marked by reunification and reconciliation. At the helm of this fragile peace stands President Abraham Lincoln, a man who has borne the weight of a nation on his shoulders. Having steered the Union through its darkest hour, Lincoln is now tasked with the daunting challenge of binding the wounds of war and forging a new path for a nation riven by conflict. Lincoln's vision for the future is one of unity and forgiveness. He believes in a future where former enemies can lay down their arms and work together to rebuild their shattered nation. His leadership, characterized by compassion and a steadfast commitment to preserving the Union, has earned him the respect of both his allies and his former foes. The year is 1865. The American Civil War is finally drawing to a close. The nation stands poised on the precipice of a new era, marked by reunification and reconciliation. President Abraham Lincoln, who has borne the weight of a nation, now faces the challenge of binding the wounds of war. Lincoln's vision for the future is one of unity and forgiveness. He believes in a future where former enemies can work together to rebuild their shattered nation. His leadership has earned him the respect of both allies and former foes. But fate had other plans. On April 14, 1865, President Lincoln and his wife attend a performance at Ford's Theater. The atmosphere is jubilant, reflecting the nation's hope. Unknown to the crowd, a sinister plot is afoot.
John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer, plots to assassinate the president. Booth slips into the presidential box, pistol in hand. A gunshot rings out, plunging the nation into mourning.
The assassination of Abraham Lincoln sent shockwaves through a nation still reeling from the Civil War. Lincoln's death, 2 months after the Confederate surrender, robbed the nation of its leader. The loss of Lincoln was felt deeply by people across the nation. Millions mourned the man who had guided them through their darkest hour. Lincoln's assassination had far-reaching consequences for American history. The world watched in awe as John F. Kennedy became the youngest elected president of the United States. It was 1961, and a new era of hope and optimism dawned. Kennedy embodied the aspirations of a nation eager for progress. His presidency, though short, was marked by pivotal moments. From his vision of landing a man on the moon to his stance during the Cuban Missile Crisis, a tense standoff that brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. Kennedy's leadership proved instrumental in navigating danger and uncertainty. His commitment to civil rights set in motion social change. Kennedy's speeches inspired hope for a brighter future, but a dark undercurrent of discontent brewed beneath the surface.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy, at 43, became the youngest elected president of the United States.
It was 1961, and a new era of hope and optimism dawned.
Kennedy's youthful charisma embodied the aspirations of a nation eager for change.
His presidency, though short, was marked by pivotal moments shaping history.
November 22, 1963 dawned bright and clear in Dallas, Texas.
President Kennedy, accompanied by his wife Jacqueline, arrived in the city as part of a political trip, eager to connect with the American people and bolster support for his upcoming re-election campaign.
The presidential motorcade, a symbol of power and prestige, made its way through the crowded streets of Dallas, the air thick with anticipation and excitement.
Thousands lined the streets, eager to catch a glimpse of their young president, their faces a mixture of adoration and hope.
As the motorcade approached Dealey Plaza, a sudden sharp crack pierced the air, followed by another and then another.
The crowd, initially confused, watched in horror as President Kennedy, struck by an assassin's bullets, slumped forward in his seat.
Chaos erupted as Secret Service agents scrambled to shield the president and First Lady, the motorcade accelerating towards Parkland Memorial Hospital.
The world held its breath, united in shock and disbelief as news of the assassination spread like wildfire. The assassination of John F. Kennedy sent shockwaves through the United States and around the globe. Millions mourned the loss of their beloved president, their grief palpable, their sense of disbelief profound. The world had lost not just a leader, but an icon, a symbol of hope and progress. Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with alleged ties to communist groups, was arrested for the assassination. However, Oswald's subsequent murder by Jack Ruby, a distraught Dallas nightclub owner before he could stand trial, fueled a firestorm of conspiracy theories that continue to swirl around the event to this day. The Warren Commission, established to investigate the assassination, concluded that Oswald acted alone. But doubts lingered, fueled by inconsistencies in the official narrative and a lack of transparency surrounding the investigation. The assassination of John F. Kennedy remains one of the most controversial and debated events in modern history. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the enduring power of conspiracy, and the profound impact that a single event can have on the course of history. The year is 1984. Indira Gandhi, India's first and only female prime minister, is at the height of her power. A formidable leader, she had guided the nation through periods of immense change and upheaval, earning the respect and adoration of millions across the country. But on the morning of October 31st, the world watched in disbelief as tragedy struck, forever altering the course of Indian history. Gandhi's assassination sent shockwaves through India and beyond. Here was a leader who had stared down adversity, a woman who had become a symbol of strength and resilience, struck down in a moment of unimaginable violence. The news spread like wildfire, leaving a nation in mourning, grappling with the loss of its iconic leader. As the nation mourned, questions arose, demanding answers. How could this have happened? How could a figure so deeply revered, so closely protected, fall victim to such a brutal act? The answers, as they unfolded, revealed a story of political intrigue, religious tensions, and a security lapse that would have devastating consequences.
The year is 1984. Indira Gandhi, India's first and only female prime minister, is at the height of her power. A formidable leader, she had guided the nation through periods of immense change and upheaval, earning the respect and adoration of millions across the country. But on the morning of October 31st, the world watched in disbelief as tragedy struck, forever altering the course of Indian history. Gandhi's assassination sent shockwaves through India and beyond. Here was a leader who had stared down adversity, a woman who had become a symbol of strength and resilience, struck down in a moment of unimaginable violence. The news spread like wildfire, leaving a nation in mourning, grappling with the loss of its iconic leader. As the nation mourned, questions arose, demanding answers. How could this have happened? How could a figure so deeply revered, so closely protected, fall victim to such a brutal act? The answers, as they unfolded, revealed a story of political intrigue, religious tensions, and a security lapse that would have devastating consequences.
To understand the events of that fateful day, we must journey back to the heart of the Sikh community, a prominent religious group within India. The Golden Temple had become a focal point of growing unrest. Indira Gandhi authorized Operation Blue Star, a military operation aimed at removing militants. The operation deeply wounded the Sikh psyche. Among Gandhi's security detail were Sikh bodyguards, torn by the events at their holiest site. On the morning of October 31st, 1984, Indira Gandhi prepared for a meeting with Peter Ustinov, who was in India to interview her for a documentary.
She walked from her official residence towards a wicket gate, her personal bodyguards flanking her on either side.
Two of her Sikh bodyguards, Beant Singh and Satwant Singh, drew their weapons. They opened fire, striking Gandhi at close range.
The Prime Minister collapsed to the ground, her lifeblood staining the path.
The assassins made no attempt to escape. Beant Singh was killed, while Satwant Singh was later executed.
The world watched in stunned silence as the news spread, leaving a void in Indian politics and a legacy marked by violence.
Mahatma Gandhi, a name synonymous with peace and non-violence, a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. His life's work, a testament to the power of passive resistance, had liberated India from the grip of the British Empire. Gandhi's philosophy, deeply rooted in ancient Indian traditions, resonated not only within the subcontinent but across the globe. He advocated for unity, understanding, and above all, unwavering adherence to non-violent principles, even in the face of oppression. His leadership, unwavering and resolute, had steered India towards independence, but the journey had left its scars. The partition, a painful separation of India and Pakistan, had ignited flames of religious animosity, casting a long shadow over the newly independent nation. Despite the turmoil, Gandhi remained a symbol of unity, a frail yet formidable figure striving to heal the wounds of division. His presence, a calming influence amidst the storm, offered hope for a future where peace and harmony might prevail. Mahatma Gandhi, a name synonymous with peace and non-violence, a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. His life's work, a testament to the power of passive resistance, had liberated India from the grip of the British Empire. Gandhi's philosophy, deeply rooted in ancient Indian traditions, resonated not only within the subcontinent but across the globe. He advocated for unity, understanding, and above all, unwavering adherence to non-violent principles, even in the face of oppression.
His leadership, unwavering and resolute, had steered India towards independence, but the journey had left its scars. The partition, a painful separation of India and Pakistan, had ignited flames of religious animosity, casting a long shadow over the newly independent nation.
Despite the turmoil, Gandhi remained a symbol of unity, a frail yet formidable figure striving to heal the wounds of division. His presence, a calming influence amidst the storm, offered hope for a future where peace and harmony might prevail. But within this narrative of hope, a storm was brewing. Extremist elements, fueled by a potent cocktail of religious fervor and resentment, saw Gandhi's message of peace as a betrayal of their vision for India. His calls for unity and reconciliation were anathema to their ideology, an obstacle to their ambition of establishing a Hindu-dominated state. Gandhi's unwavering belief in inclusivity in a nation where Hindus and Muslims could coexist was a direct challenge to their narrow and divisive worldview. This discontent, simmering beneath the surface, found its expression in Nathuram Godse, a Hindu nationalist driven by a potent combination of ideology and personal vendetta. Godse, blinded by his fanaticism, viewed Gandhi's pacifism as a weakness, a threat to the India he envisioned. Gandhi, ever the optimist, remained oblivious to the danger swirling around him. His focus remained on healing the wounds of partition, on bridging the chasm that had emerged between communities. He believed in the inherent goodness of humanity, a belief that tragically would prove to be his undoing. On that fateful day in January 1948, as Gandhi walked towards a prayer meeting, tragedy struck. Godse, consumed by his hate, emerged from the crowd and fired 3 fatal shots. The Mahatma collapsed to the ground, his lifeblood staining the earth. The news sent shockwaves across India and the world.
Millions mourned the loss of their leader, their grief echoing the profound sense of loss. Gandhi's assassination was not just the loss of a leader, but the shattering of a dream. Yet, even in death, Gandhi's message of peace and non-violence resonated.
Anwar Sadat, the charismatic leader of Egypt, dared to defy expectations in pursuit of peace. His journey began in the shadow of conflict, as Egypt grappled with the aftermath of the Six-Day War. In 1977, Sadat shocked the world by visiting Jerusalem, becoming the first Arab leader to visit the Jewish state. This bold act paved the way for direct negotiations with Israel. His decision was met with mixed reactions, but Sadat remained undeterred. He believed dialogue was the only path to lasting peace. Anwar Sadat, the charismatic leader of Egypt, dared to defy expectations in pursuit of peace. His journey began in the shadow of conflict, grappling with the aftermath of the Six-Day War. The loss of the Sinai Peninsula to Israel in 1967 left a deep scar on Egypt. In 1977, Sadat shocked the world by visiting Jerusalem, the first Arab leader to do so. This bold act paved the way for direct negotiations with Israel. Sadat remained undeterred, his vision for a peaceful Middle East his guiding star. Sadat's bold initiative bore fruit in 1979 with the signing of the Camp David Accords, a framework for peace between Egypt and Israel. This historic agreement, brokered by U.S. President Jimmy Carter, formally ended the state of war between the two nations, marking a pivotal moment in the Arab-Israeli conflict. The treaty, while a monumental achievement, came at a cost. It isolated Egypt from much of the Arab world, with many nations condemning Sadat for negotiating a separate peace with Israel without addressing the Palestinian question. The Arab League suspended Egypt's membership, and the nation faced economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation. Despite these setbacks, Sadat remained steadfast in his belief that the treaty was a necessary step towards a wider peace in the region. He argued that by making peace with Israel, Egypt could regain the Sinai Peninsula and focus on its own development, setting an example for other Arab nations to follow. However, his vision for peace came with a heavy price. Extremist groups, enraged by what they perceived as a betrayal of the Arab cause, viewed Sadat as a traitor. They saw the peace treaty as a humiliation, a concession too far, and vowed to exact revenge. On October 6, 1981, as Egypt celebrated the anniversary of the 1973 war with Israel, tragedy struck. During a military parade in Cairo, soldiers aligned with Egyptian Islamic Jihad attacked the reviewing stand. Armed with grenades and automatic weapons, they opened fire. Sadat, mortally wounded, slumped in his chair. The attack sent shockwaves through Egypt and the world. Sadat's assassination was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. His death dealt a severe blow to the peace process, yet Sadat's legacy lived on. His courage in pursuing peace continues to inspire. The peace treaty remains a testament to his vision. From the bustling streets of Delhi to the sun-drenched squares of Cairo, we have journeyed through time, bearing witness to moments that have shaped the course of history. The assassination of leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Anwar Sadat serve as stark reminders of the vulnerability of those who dare to lead, who strive to build a better world. These tragic events, etched into the tapestry of time, underscore the profound impact of individual lives on the global stage. They remind us that the pursuit of peace, of justice, of equality, often comes at a great cost, demanding unwavering courage and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Assassinations, while extinguishing lives, cannot extinguish the ideals they represent. The legacies of these leaders, their dreams of a more just and peaceful world, continue to inspire, urging us to confront injustice, to bridge divides, and to strive for a future where violence is not the answer. Subscribe to our channel for more historical deep dives and analyses of events that shaped the world.